Greetings,
I can't
everyone.
believe you did, Eric. I can't believe what you did. You goddamn well took your thumb and then shoved it into the throat of the grand finale. You horrible man.
I am a horrible man, and yes, Marcus is missing. That is Marcus laid out right there. That is kind of me right there. The black glove is off, but yes, I will acknowledge this. This thumbnail is trash. The thumbnail is awful, and because of that, I decided there was only one thing we could do to make everything right, and we're going to bring back vintage style. Manny, hit the button. Shout out to Shotzi, and this couple of takeaways from watching that. Man, I don't know when the last time you've seen that, but man, we was really fat.
Yeah, really, really fat.
Really fat. Like, really fat. Like,
do you know what? You know what? Fuck you, all of you audience, for not telling us how bad we
yeah,
were.
I mean,
and thank you at the same time, because I feel like it would ruin my feelings if you told me that 2 years ago.
I mean, like, we all had very round face. We should have been the round shooters. That's how our faces, like, we had no definition whatsoever. Anyway, greetings, everyone. As you can see that this Saturday episode is only a two-man crew. I'm one half of the Sharpshooters podcast, known as Eric, aka the Hater.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And
1/3 of this podcast, 1/2 of the other one.
Yes, and multiple other things. As you can tell that the grand finale is in the finale state right now. I believe he is ill and under the weather. Knowing him, he might chime into the resurrect himself in the chat room and be like, fuck you guys, I'm going home, but we don't know. But we're here because the show must go on. Be something gracious for a lot of other people, because I'm pretty sure I'm the least liked person on the network, and I'm okay with that.
How do you know? We have to do a poll.
Well, because Manny, Manny, let's just point out, I don't want confirmation. I rather think that way, because just imagine if it comes out that you were the least liked person.
I'd be furious.
Yes,
I'd
exactly.
be furious.
Yes. I think Marcus
would it in every week if it was me.
I think Marcus would be furious also. I think the only person who could accept being the least liked person is me, because I understand it. It's like, it's simple as that. Because I can see Manny. All I do, you guys hate me? You hate me? Forget you. L. York says, Eric was born to be the most hated. It's written in the stars. I would agree with that one. You know, because you know, I started off hating on AEW at the beginning, and people hated that about me. But with that, we're not here to talk about who hates what, who likes what. We're here to talk about wrestling, and we're here to discuss what happened on Friday Night Smackdown. And then also, because there was no Thursday show, we will jump into some of the highlights from Dynamite and also from NXT, which is Maury Povich on steroids.
Eric, because you weren't on Tuesday, we have to cover what you liked about Raw.
Oh, okay. We can also mention about Raw. We can tickle Raw too. You know, we can do that. You know, I can tell you this right now. He kind of does. That? He's in charge of Murder Inc. He was with Ja Rule and Ashanti. Betty's looking up.
I look more like Pitbull than.
No, you want to look like Mr. Worldwide. No, Betty, you're not Mr. Worldwide. As we wait for Betty to find out who Irv Gotti is, this is gonna be funny. He's like,
"Oh, I typed in ink." I can see it.
Anyway, well, Betty, if you want to know the disrespectful thing I was gonna do to you this week, if you paid attention to anything on SmackDown, there was a guy in the audience who was dressed like Macho Man, and I said he kind of reminded me of Manny with a wig on. But because this is AAPI month, I said I was not going to disrespect you like that. You know, it's not the right thing to do. You know,
Yes, and you also know if you come at me, I will come at you hard.
I understand that. I mean, I feel like you'll call me one of those guys from NXT, Tyrus and Tyrone. I don't know their names. I can't remember their name, but you know who they is. They got to win.
Tyson and Tyreek, I think they're called.
It's possibly Devon kids, maybe not his kids, because they could have been his kid. But Macho Manny did remind me of you, Betty. I was like, man, and he was giving Randy Orton tips and everything. So I would say that the thing that I'm enjoying mostly about WWE right now is with the King and the Queen of the Ring tournaments, there's a firm structure of what's going on. It actually feels like that, Adam and Nick are coming to work and they have an outline plan of what they're going to do. They're just not making up the show on the cuff. And that's like one thing about professional wrestling that's always drove me crazy is that like they literally go to the start of the show and there's no main event. Like a main event just kind of manifests itself in the process. Yeah. So, Manny, do you like the structure that we know what we're getting in these matches?
Yeah, but I noticed the criticism AEW got when they did their little round robin tournament, like the G1 last December. It is nice knowing what you're going to get, but then they do sprinkle in a little bit of changes, like how they had Bobby Lashley taken out, which I think makes more sense because you wouldn't want Bobby Lashley being just taken out like that, like by Tama Tonga. So it makes sense to pull him from the tournament, and it made sense to kind of pull Asuka out of the tournament as well and stuff like that. So I like some of the changes going on in terms of the tournament. Like you have the bracket going into it, but then there may be changes in.
No, I thought it was like on Monday Night Raw when they pulled Drew McIntyre out of it. I was like, yeah, Drew doesn't need to be in this right here. It's just that it doesn't bode well because there's certain situations where people need to lose. And like when we saw Dawkins put in the match, you kind of knew Tonga was winning. That's why you didn't put Ford there because Ford should have been there if it was going to really be a push for King of the Ring. But before we even got to the first match, it kind of Friday Night Smackdown started off with a surprise in so many ways because you had Nick Aldis in the ring. Cody made his full-fledged intro, blowing the pyro budget. But we were there to announce his next challenger, and that became the United States champion, Logan Paul. Manny, Logan Paul, as a person who's going to go overseas and fight Cody for this title, do you think this was the right call?
Sometimes no. There's two answers here. There's yes and no. There's the no where it's like what has he done? What has he done to necessarily get this title shot? Because there seems to be a lot more deserving in terms of if you were to count win-loss record at this moment in time and who's on a upward trend. He isn't the guy. But then, yes, in the sense that if you're going to the Saudi show, Logan Paul is known worldwide. Why not put someone, if you haven't got anyone that you want to really label, and then there has been reports that they don't really know what to do with Cody title reign at the moment in time till Roman or The Rock come back. So Logan is a good stopgap, and you're not going to have a bad match with Logan, really. No, so it makes sense, and it can go viral, and I think that's what they want to do happen in Saudi.
And I thought that the promo that Logan cut, talking about they both debuted at the same time and how, like they are both on the same trajectory of greatness and how they're doing it. I was like, yeah, this is a good thing. And on top of that, Logan is the type of person that can take a loss from Cody and nothing will happen. I mean, yeah. I think that we can look at the King of the Ring brackets and we can pick a multitude of people who could win the King of the Ring. But I think it's more important to find Cody the right challenger going forward into, like you say, either The Rock or Roman Reigns comes back. Because I don't know what he can do.
Well, for me, when they were saying Bobby Lashley was pulled, I thought, oh, they're going to put Bobby Lashley against Cody. That would make more sense, but maybe that's a bit further down the line.
I think that could be further down the line because I really think that you have to go to the best storyline when it comes to dealing with Cody, and I think it's the storyline that writes itself. However, this individual needs to become a heel again, and that's Randy Orton. Yeah. I think Randy Orton is the perfect person for him to go because Randy can do all his Dasher things, get disqualified, and then at the end, Cody gets to do that hero's journey that he wants to do. But I don't know right now. Randy's doing his bullshit where he's happy Randy, and I don't like happy Randy. I also thought that the promo that AJ cut with Caleb Braxton about getting back on track with King of the Ring and stuff after his defeat to Cody and stuff, I thought that was a very good thing to reset.
It was smart.
Yeah.
it
Now,
was smart because it's like I'm gonna have to earn my pop. But that seemed more like a face promo than it
yeah.
was a I'm a bad guy promo.
Yeah, but then he also went back and he blamed the fans in France for distracting him. But I'm like, AJ, if you're not mentally tough enough to avoid those fans who are by far still better, America, you got to do better. You got to do better. We're lagging right now. I need to make
Actually, do you know what? The Raw crowd didn't bring it. The SmackDown crowd
was
did a lot
better.
better.
But Marcus pointed
Yeah.
out to you, Manny, that's Hartford, Connecticut. They ain't gonna get up for anything. They got too much money. They got to protect their wallets. In Pennsylvania, a little bit more blue collar. So I can see how they was able to get up. But I need some people. We need to go to like New Orleans or something. I feel like they could get the job done. Even Atlanta, someplace like that. So the
No, it's
very
always it's do you know it's always those those wrestling towns. It's always going to be New York, Chicago, Philly.
yeah. So I think until people get healthy, I think that the Cody Logan Paul situation will be really good because you'll have all the goons for Logan Paul getting involved and stuff like that. I really liked how when the crowd started chanting "Prime sucks" and El Luchador. That is the purpose. We're not supposed to like both people. The fact that you hate Logan Paul makes him a perfect person because you want to see him get beat. Now if he wins it, you're gonna be really bad. You're gonna be so upset, just hot.
Thing is, I dislike the man, but I can't not respect what he does in the ring because like he's trying. It's not like these celebrities that come in here and there and then they just phone it in. They do the most basic as shit. He's not doing the basic as shit. He's doing shit most that a good half of the wrestlers can't do.
That is also true. So Manny, most of the matches from the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, I think that the majority of them I can predict the outcome, but there's a few of them I'm like, I don't know who's going to win this match. And I would say that Naomi versus Nia Jax was one of those matches. I was not 100% sure. I was thinking that, yeah, Nia Jax would win this match, but I also said that Naomi could do it. Maybe if Naomi didn't have such trouble with her wardrobe, she could have pulled out this victory. But I did love Nia talk about "I love you, sis," because they're part of the bloodline. I thought this was actually a very good opening match. I'm very impressed with the improvement that Nia has made. I think she is a viable competitor in the women's division, and I was happy to see this. It was actually a fun match.
You said something there, Eric, which I need to correct you.
Okay,
Uh, they are part of the bloodline, but Naomi is part of the bloodline by marriage. I believe Nia Jax, even though she isn't attached to the tree,
she's on
she
the
was off
side.
to the side. I believe from what The Rock said, the bloodline, the two families were done by blood oath. So I'm believing that Nia Jax has some blood oath that connects her to this tree. So I think Nia Jax proved that she is the real tribal queen of this tree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I thought Nia had to win. I thought moving on, Naomi did her best, whatever. Now, these are the little things that I think WWE does very well because we go backstage with Byron Saxton and he's talking to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin talks about, going down to NXT to refine that fire and whatnot. And yes, Baron Corbin is the last WWE performer that I'm holding on. Luckily, Cameron Grimes got the axe first. Baron Corbin, he's probably next on the chopping block next year if he doesn't figure something out. But with that being said, for this match for the King of the Ring, Baron Corbin was probably the perfect opponent to make Carmelo Hayes look astounding in front of the crowd, and I think he did that. Would you agree with that, Manny?
I agree with you, and it's interesting that you think he may be fired. I don't. I think he is possibly one of the most safer people, in the sense that he is there basically to make other people look good.
Yeah,
He is essentially the Miz and what Dolph Ziggler was, even though Dolph Ziggler overdid it. I think Baron Corbin, when he's done, people are gonna look back at his career and go, I forgot how good he actually was, because he's not going to be given any type of credit in terms of the things he does in the ring. So I think what he was able to do with Melo actually helped Melo quite a lot, because I think Melo of his size is going to find it difficult to compete with a lot of these big guys. So having that match with Corbin makes him look a lot better than to start things off.
I was on the phone with Marcus doing this match, and I said, Marcus, did you see what I just saw? He was like, what? Well, Corbin was on his knee and he was just as tall as Carmelo Hayes. He was just a little bit shorter than him. And I was like, damn, that's kind of bad. But at the same time, there was one transition, I think, where like Carmelo flipped and then Corbin hit a clothesline. I was like, oh, that was a nice move. So I think that like Carmelo does have that Rey Mysterio thing about him where he's so athletic that he can really make up if he has a good opponent. And I think with this is that I'm going to ask you this question once we talk about the next Queen of the Ring qualifying match, because I think Piper Niven did the same thing that Baron did for Carmelo with Jade, because
Yeah.
because that Piper, well, we'll talk about it right now. Jade Cargo versus Piper Niven. I was nervous about this match because I was like, Jade really can't really wrestle. And it was one move that she really messed up. It was the clothesline where she was supposed to fall backwards, but she didn't, but they repeated. But I thought Piper was so safe and really helped Jade look really strong in this match. And I actually felt that she had a better match than Bianca did with Candice LeRae.
So I thought this was the best Jade match from AEW and WWE. Given that AEW, they were all practically squash matches. None of them were like more. They were all Goldberg run type matches.
Yeah.
This, I think, you can tell she's been working with Naomi and Bianca Belair off camera and stuff like that on the tours and stuff like that. So you saw some forms of improvement with Jade, but then what she did with Piper, I was just like, this is probably the best you'll ever see of Jade at this current stage. She can get better. So she better not just coast and stay at this level. She can get better with the athleticism she has. It's obviously just getting used to having proper matches. And I think what they were doing in AEW when she had, I don't know what the run was. Was it 54
It was something like that. And
whatever?
it was like less than 2 minute matches and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you ain't going to get better doing that. You ain't going to get better doing that. So like working with people bigger than you and other people that have been doing it a long time and actually pushing you to be better, I think works in her stance, because I think Tony kind of just had her there to be one, the token, and then two, well, token in two aspects: woman, female wrestler, and a person of color.
Yeah. And I feel like he's doing the same thing with Willow, and I don't like that. He's like sacrificing, but we'll get that when we get to AEW. But yeah, I thought Jade has gotten better. You could tell that her timing is still off. You could tell that it's still not flowing naturally for her. But as long as they keep putting her in the ring with good opponents, she should be perfectly fine. Now, I believe she's fighting Nia Jax next. I don't know how this is going to go.
Well, I think Nia is a lot better than how she used to be when there was so much negativity towards her. I think Nia Jax is a much better performer and a bit, I would say, probably more safer than before. And when you look at the bracket, it's difficult to see where this goes. I was like, are you going to a SmackDown final with Bianca and Jade, or is Tiffany gonna do some dastardly deed? Because the quarterfinals looks like it's going to end up being Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair.
Yeah, but I feel like Bianca's going to get hurt because I don't know if you give. I told Marcy, I don't know if you give this match away free in a tournament. Like, it feel like you should have bigger stakes for Tiffy and Bianca because they're like pretty much the exact same person, just different race and everything in the same situation. They're both athletic gym. Like, they have the same story. They came from those tryouts and they got in there. And it's like, I think it's more money if you build up a bigger thing, but I don't know. And I think that's the cool thing about the second round of the King of the Ring is that everything is very unpredictable. Now, like the first round, you're like, I get it. I can figure these out. Second round, I was like, I don't really know what you're going to do. So you know how, Manny, that you and Marcus always wants me to determine if Lexis King had a good week or a bad week? Well, I have a new segment I want for you guys because there's two wrestlers who don't really wrestle. But
we've already created the segment of bad Mercedes or good Mercedes.
No, we're not doing that one. There's a new one for you. It's like, because there's two performers who don't really wrestle, but they eventually do wrestle, but they always lose. But they have some of the better backstage segments where they're talking. Sometimes they have subtitles, sometimes they don't. once again, we got another Nakamura vignette where he's talking about coming to get what's his and all that good stuff.
I'm gonna, if you ask me if it's good Nakamura, but it's bad Nakamura this week because he keeps telling me the same shit
No,
and he
Manny,
keeps failing.
no, that's not my question. Because Nakamura had a vignette, but then someone else had another vignette, and that was Andrade. He had his vignette talking about his nonsense, what he was doing.
They're both bad.
So, Manny, my question for you: who do you choose, Nakamura's vignette or Andrade's vignette?
I take Nakamura because at least if for me, I'm all about production, Eric, and I love the shots they get of Nakamura because he always looks majestic and he always looks like he's a king of whatever he's doing. Whereas Andrade looked like he was just walking around in smoke.
Well, with Andrade, first of all, it looked like they cut his promo vignette short. Like they had more. Then I was like, oh, they forgot the subtitles. And I was like, well, he does the same thing. Prayer hands, walk around, look around. It's like, what he's gonna do? And I just left. I was like, this is what these guys do. They do vignettes, they talk shit, and then they don't win. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So Marcus kind of gave me, because I didn't realize that Indy Hartwell had turned bad, and I just thought that Candace did not really compliment Bianca at all in this match. I don't. It was a squash. It wasn't a good match to me.
It was there to make Bianca look incredibly strong. It wasn't necessarily there for Candice to be doing anything.
True. So, Manny, do you believe Solo? Has he spoke to Roman?
No. But
yeah.
I want to talk to you. I don't want to talk about what came out of SmackDown. I want to talk to you about the news article about, we're not really, me and you are at liberty to talk about this, man, because we don't watch MLW.
We don't.
But there's a fear that
Solo Marcus told me that Jacob Fatu will overshadow Solo.
Yeah, so they're delaying the debut, so that's why they're trying to make Solo look like the big boss man, essentially, right now, till the inevitable debut of Jacob Fatu.
Let me tell you this right now, Manny. Them gloves ain't gonna do it. Them gloves ain't doing it. The half gloves ain't making me feel like he's tougher than what it. I thought that he talked more, and I thought it came across, but I think that he has to adopt more of the Hunico look or Camacho look. Then I don't think the blonde mullet thing really works. It doesn't give me badass, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, because you can't just step into top boss level when you were running as the underboss for so long.
Like
Roman,
you were the enforcer for so long, and it's like, like, I need you to do something more. Like, I don't know. Like, Tama Tonga looks more impressive than Solo right now. You know what I mean? It's just like he has a look, and it's like I don't. If you tell me this is the boss, that's what I have to believe, and you can't be afraid that Jacob Fatu looks stronger than Solo. You just can't. You have to have faith in what you're doing to go with that. So I don't know if that's just internet speculation or if that's truth. Who knows? But I mean, I thought this was one of the more intriguing things. So I think that what sold this whole entire segment was Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's reactions are so great, where he was like, wait, you talked to Roman? Like, he stopped talking to me. Like, how did you talk to Roman? And it's like, it's a lie, because it's like, who's really in charge of the bloodline? But then when Solo breaks out to Paul, like, oh, you made us drop in the draft because you decided to pull Roman and stuff like that. I was like, oh shit, like you. It was a solid segment for me. I enjoyed for what it did.
Yeah, it was for me, but like, where I know we got to give it time, but it's like, where is this leading to, and how long is it going to take till we get to where you need to get to? Like, I'm all for being fed breadcrumbs when it was Roman and the bloodline, but the fact that Roman isn't here and we're clamoring for Roman to come back, it's just like, how long is it going to take before we get to here?
Yeah.
And like, how long is it going to take for you to establish that Solo is the guy? Because that wasn't necessarily like, since the win against John Cena last year.
Yeah,
I don't think he's done much.
No, he hasn't. It's just that he's been in the back. I mean, he almost looked like he got out of more shape. But so unfortunately, Manny, you're gonna have to discuss this match, because when Angelo Dawkins and Tama Tonga fought, the only thing I saw was something I told Marcus at the fight. I was like, Manny's gonna be so pissed because B Fab walked out for no fucking reason. Just walked out there and it's probably put you in a bad mood. Then my
No,
power
it
went
was
out.
good because I saw her come out and then I saw her leave. Montez stayed out there, but I saw her leave, so it was all right. But I thought this should have been a showcase for Dawkins, because everyone keeps talking about, oh, Montez is gonna be the guy, Dawkins is gonna be the Janetti and all this stuff. Because we've all seen improvements in Dawkins since everyone started clamoring like Dawkins is a piece of shit wrestler. But the way he was just disposed of in this match, I just wasn't feeling it. I was
I don't.
like, they done him dirty with it.
I don't know what happened because the power went out, but I told Marcus before my power went out, I was like, I think Dawkins lost too much weight. Like he looks too small now. He doesn't even give me the big man look anymore. So he needs to really put on some muscle or something like that to really tone it up because he's like too slender right now. And then
Yeah.
also when I was getting the pictures, I saw that he got the Samoan spike from Solo. But I kind of expected this to happen because like I think the thing about it is that I think we're going to get a feud with the Street Profits versus the Gorillas of Destinies, and maybe possibly Bobby Lashley in this situation. Maybe that could be something to have the Bloodline build up a little bit more momentum. Like that's a few almost very similar to what happened with the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross. You know, like
Yeah.
which might make people unhappy. Looks like I missed a Blair Davenport vignette. I didn't even know she was drafted to SmackDown.
She was drafted to SmackDown as the last person from NXT going to anywhere. It was an okay package. It's just I don't know how she fits in the women's division. The women SmackDown, when you include Jade, Naomi, and Bianca, and then you add Tiffany up there, then you've got Bailey as the champion. It's hard to see where she fits in. I didn't see much from her in NXT UK and NXT Black and Gold.
Do you feel like she was called up too soon? Because I do feel like she was called
I
up
think
too
so.
soon.
I don't think she did much. I don't think she was really given time to really improve up there, down there in NXT. So like she hasn't had much time speaking. She's had decent ring time. She's decent in the ring. It's just that in terms of storyline, haven't seen much from her.
So, man, let me ask you this question, and this might just be me being stupid or being. Do you think the possibility that they call Blair Davenport up so Tatum Paxson can be better because they don't want people to be confused? Because I mean, they're
There is a
similar.
chance of that.
They're similar.
Yeah. There is a chance of that. I think what happens is I think recently what's happening is there's a lot of people just staying in NXT for too long. When you look at the likes of like Dijak, who went back and stayed in there for too long, stayed in that system. So sometimes you have to see if you haven't seen the investment, but you see something still in them, but you haven't seen a return. It's like, let me throw them to the main roster, which is possibly what you might see happen is the Cameron Grimes effect, where they've gone up, haven't really done anything, and then they inevitably get released when they go, we're not getting anything from our investment.
I mean, it's a very interesting because they have so many women on their roster, and like you have to realize Bailey only got a backstage segment where she was interviewed by Braxton, and and she was just talking about the tournament and stuff like that. I mean, it was nice to see the champion featured, but like she has to do more. And I think this has always been the problem with babyface champions. There's only so much because people get behind them as they go for the title, but once they get the title, it's like, well, what do we do now? Like we don't know about the happy story. But let's talk about two old men doing what they do best, wrestling. That was Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Man, this was a clinic. It just was they didn't do too much. They didn't do too little. They told their story in the ring. I told Marcus, I was like at the 55-minute mark before going, that's when we're going to get vintage Orton. He was like, nah. And it happened. I was like, I've seen this WWE style match. They know the pacing so well compared to where I feel like on Monday Night Raw, watching that match, Betty, I feel like they ran out of time. And that's why that single leg Boston Crab ended that match because they rushed off very quickly after Gunther won.
No, see, I don't think that's necessarily a thing because with Gunther, there's never really a definite finish to his matches. He can defeat you any way. Like he'll sometimes do that big man, that that doesn't have any effect since he's lost weight. Splash from the top rope,
or
he'll do the
if
power bomb.
if he fights a little wrestler, it's the power bomb, big boot sequence,
or like the strong lariat. So I don't think there's an actual determined like how he will finish you off. He will just defeat you. Whereas this, I like the match. I was enjoying it. I just had the referee really annoyed me, Eric. You see, just before they went to break, Randy Orton was doing all that shit on the outside. He threw AJ on the table. He threw him into the barricade. The referee didn't say anything. The moment AJ Styles does a chop block onto Randy Orton on the outside of the ring, the referee was mad. Unacceptable.
I mean, I can get your understanding, and we always talk about AEW and how they have their officiating when they do stupid stuff, and I can see where you can get frustrated with that. But like, I think at the end of it, Randy won. I'm not surprised that he won in this match. And now you just have to find something for AJ to do. I think that's the important thing. I think that when we have people who lose, they have to find a purpose. So we need to find a story for AJ, just like how you'll need to find a story for Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, who, by the way, Manny, I'll let you know right now, she's my MVP of the week.
Chelsea Green.
Yes. She had she had my favorite move of the entire week because it was so petty. That was SmackDown. SmackDown was fine. I enjoyed the show. It flowed really well. We will go to NXT.
No. To explain your favorite move. Say your favorite move, and then we'll cover the rest of the stuff. Because I'll tell you what my favorite move of the week.
Because it's an NXT. So, do you remember when Chelsea Green is fighting Roxanne Perez? When Roxanne Perez walked into the ring, I was like, man, she kind of reminds me of a more confident and more charismatic Mercedes Moné. But we're not going to get there in that situation. But remember, Roxanne slaps Chelsea Green in the match. Chelsea is offended. Chelsea goes through all these hoops, like she does an off the rope, flip, slide on the ring, and she slides it just to slap Roxanne Perez back. And I was like, wow, that's a lot just to slap somebody. And I just laughed my ass off. And I was like, you could have just slapped her back. But I was like, wow. Finally, Chelsea Green is paying the dividends that she needs. Because she was even entertaining in the Piper Niven Jade Cargill match. Like, it was just like it's something about her. It was like, wow. She reminds me of the Iconics, Manny.
So what she said, she had an interview with Chris Van Vliet, who is the best interviewer in the game. She's not concerned about championships it's more about the memories.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about the fact that a lot of people wouldn't do well if they went into Royal Rumble and was like thrown out immediately, like she was the first Royal Rumble she was in. That could harm someone, but Chelsea Green hasn't allowed that to harm her. She's used that to add to her character and stuff like that. So for Chelsea, it's more about character, and like you said, it does remind me a lot of the Iconics.
Yeah.
But Eric, my favorite move this week was from Monday Night Raw. It's from your new main squeeze, Dakota Kai, when she did the Habibi Stomp.
Manny, I know you was going to talk Lala Valkyrie. You talked about it. Manny, I even saw that you made a thumbnail to talk about how great of the Habibi Stomp you were.
The Habibi Stomp was disgusting, Eric.
I know.
I'm surprised Lyra Valkyrie is alive today.
But at the end, she still lost, man. She still lost. You know, Dakota can have all the moves, but she won't win. She's like, technically, Dakota and fuck, why can't I think of the girl's name that hangs out with Candace? Indy, they're the same wrestler. They're the same.
Nah, Indy can't talk. I tell you who Dakota is. Dakota is Shinsuke Nakamura. They talk mad shit. They never get the job done.
They do. So I was talking to Marcus, and I'm pretty sure you guys didn't get to talk about this, but we were talking about Wesley's sudden return to NXT. The only reason why is because the new 19-year-old is there to take his spot. So
and you know what? I was watching that match, Eric, and I was like, you know what? The new 19-year-old is faster, more fluid than Wesley. Wesley needs to go back to Impact and just become the Rascals.
Betty, I'll tell you this right now. I could give a damn about Wesley versus Josh Briggs. Just to give a damn. My favorite moment is when Ivar comes out to the ring and Vic tries to shake his head and he just ignores him. And then Vic says, and he shakes his own head and he goes back. It's these little things that I enjoy that just want to. And I think by far the best thing over on NXT and I will say I could have watched the whole show of it, but I know you can't predict. I enjoyed the fucking compound because it made no sense to me. These women tried to fight. I was like, what are they doing? And I was like, the sled race, and then the people who they picked, I was like, all right, so okay, Jada Parker, the strongest one. Lash Legend has the longest throw. This doesn't translate at all to professional wrestling. And then
no, it made no sense.
Then we get like the 2K ratings of who did better, and I'm like, why was Meechin in there? And what does Punch Power have to do with anything else? I ate it up, Manny. I ate it up.
Do you know what you need to? Do you know what you don't need this for this. What you need this for is you scrap the current format of the WWE draft. You have all the NXT people do this shit.
Yeah.
And then you have a list of rankings, and then you go, oh, I wonder who's going first. And then you get, I don't know, the panel that does the kickoff show to do like a
draft, like Mel Kiper and stuff like
mock
that.
Draft. Yeah, do a mock draft and shit like that, and who's the top prospect and stuff like that. That would make more sense in terms of the draft for me.
So Manny, I would say that it took a long way for the whole Trick revealing an envelope for it to show that, you know, Norm said that he never lost, that he started all the momentum with Trick, but then that quickly transitioned to Trick and Lash are in a relationship, which just threw everything out of sorts for metaphor.
I thought I have now strong doubts about Trick Williams' title reign.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Not that he will. It's not a question of how long he'll have it or whatnot. It's more if it continues to be this stupid, and I know it's just a metaphor, but if it continues to be like this, maybe he ain't as good, as charismatic and good as he's gonna be.
No, because it's too much of comedy, and I'm not taking him seriously. But someone on NXT that I'm taking seriously is Fallon Henley. I think her heel turn and her
badass Fallon Henley,
being pissed off and all that. I was like, I like her even more. I was like, go ahead, Fallon, whoop these heifers' ass. You don't need no Kalani Jordan.
It also gives Kalani Jordan something to do, because I think there's something there. There is something there with Kalani Jordan. So the fact that they're having a back and forth, I think it's going to work out all the better.
Marcus would be happy to know that when I look at the numbers of the combine results, Sol Roca was 95. I'm not happy with her being 95 because she didn't even get highlighted at any of the victors at any of the others. So how the hell she get a 95? So she was just good at just doing stuff here and there. Thea Hale at 93. I was upset.
I'm so sick and tired of Thea Hale.
I know, man.
I can't stand her.
I know.
It's just too much of her. Give someone else some spotlight. It's always Thea Hale. She has about 3 segments every show.
I like Lexus King this week. I like that he got involved in some shit he shouldn't got.
Oh, so we got good Lexus King.
I got good Lexus King this week. I thought the beard was sprayed on nice. He was talking good shit. The throne rolled out in a timely manner. He walked out. I mean, I thought everything. He beat Duke. If he would have lost to Duke, it would have been bad, Lexus King. But I thought overall, I mean, I think when you watch NXT, at the end of it, you don't take this show seriously. You just can't. There's no way that you can. Like, right now, the strongest champion that they have on their roster, and this is hard when I say this, is probably Roxanne Perez. This was the first week she looked like a champion going against Chelsea Green. I
can't stand her. I just can't.
I know.
I feel like she's a mistake. Like, you've already raised concerns that she might be a confident Mercedes Moné. She talks like her.
Mm-hmm. She does.
I can't buy her as a bad guy.
I know, Manny. I know you can't. what the hell is he?
So yeah, on NXT, on WWE 2K, the wrestling game, there's a performance center championship.
That sounds like something he would have in real life too. I'm just saying. But I thought the match between Roxanne and Chelsea was actually quite entertaining, and I think it's more so because of Chelsea. Chelsea made me care about this match. I mean, like, Like I wasn't even that upset with Ava this week. I mean, I don't think she was taking any notes down right. That's why some of these
No,
numbers
she
got.
just had a clipboard. She
Yeah,
just had a clipboard at the combine.
I, I,
She wasn't doing anything.
and I think that's why Thea Hill got so high up in the rankings because Ava didn't know how to take notes right. But I did like seeing Robert Stone there. I don't know what Robert Stone was doing there. I don't know what type of why he was there taking an evaluation. But Betty, you're right. We need to have the draft show where they do this more and more. Overall, I thought that the show ended hilariously with Damon Kent being beat down in the back with some of the worst punches I've ever seen thrown by anybody, and then Charlie Dempsey just walking out with his trophy. Like, where my guys at? Where my guys at?
It was dumb. It was dumb, but I haven't seen someone mugged in the NXT parking lot for a while.
No, I'm glad that the parking lot ain't safe no more. I'm glad that it ain't safe no more because I was getting tired of it becoming a safe place to work. So, Manny, you said you wanted to ask me some questions about I'm taking Chelsea as a champ.
I would take Chelsea as a champ because at least Chelsea, we understand what Chelsea is. Like Chelsea is a comedy act. So if she became the mid card women's champion in NXT, I wouldn't bat an eyelid for it. But Trick is the NXT champion and he's stuck in a comedy angle, which doesn't make it. It's not good for him in the first instance of the title reign.
Like the way from his first opponent being Noam Dar, like it was too comedy in the first place. Like you could have just had Metaphor attacked him or something like that. I don't know why we had to do the who's the daddy and stuff like the angle. Just it seemed like it did more harm than it did good for Trick, in my opinion. Like because he just had this big moment. He beat Mello. He beat Ilya in a really good match, and now you're like, oh okay. And now Ilya's on Raw doing great things. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like it's very similar to like the Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso trajectory. Like Manny, I think you agree with this. Jimmy is more charismatic. However, Jimmy has been placed into that comedy role, so it's kind of hard to take him seriously. Because even when he was beating up Jay, he's like, it's still not like that. Where Jay was always kind of the straight guy, but he doesn't have that charisma to carry it. But like at the same time, he's having more single success. And I feel like they're doing a thing with Trick right now. It's too much comedy. He just need to whoop people ass. He need to channel that Trick that he had when he was feuding with Mello.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have some. I have questions for you about Raw.
Go ahead. We can go Raw and then we can end on AEW.
So I don't think there was that many standout women's matches in terms of the King of the Ring, because the true bangers of that match that night were the Ilya match.
Really good match. Really
against
good
Ricochet.
I feel bad for Ricochet. I wish he had a second. Killing Marks about that match, because first of all, me and Marks were talking about this on the phone. Shout out to whoever WWE hired for their production, because their new camera shots and camera angles are really great. There was one thing in the match when Ilya versus Ricochet where Ricochet does his dive out of the ring, I think off the corner, and we had the top down like drone shot corner, and you saw the dive, and I was like, oh wow, it broke up like wrestling, like to it made you like, oh look at that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I felt bad for Ricochet. He should have won, but he couldn't win because Ilya is more money in Ilya. He's like a little man that is great at what he does.
I felt like that was the problem with the Raw side of the tournament. It was too stacked.
Yeah. He was like, wait, I don't want any of these people to lose. Like the thing about it, when they took Drew out of it, it's like, okay, cool. Drew was out because it got convoluted. But yeah, like, but isn't that the way how tournaments are, Manny? That you don't want losers like Finn versus Jay. I know Jay has the momentum, but I wanted Finn to win.
That's true. I feel like they're not doing anything with Finn really, and they planted a little seed on Backlash. I don't know about you, but if someone grabbed me around the beard like that, like the way Priest did Finn, yeah, exactly. That's exactly the correct answer.
I put it this way. I wouldn't mind seeing if Finn would have took a trip down to NXT and maybe try to help build up Trick or something like that. Just like, give him a better opponent, because I don't think Noam Dar is the right opponent for Trick, because technically now you have two comedy people. It's just like I don't know why they didn't think about this because Noam is not the person that I thought would be the first person to be challenging Trick for his title. Just was not the guy.
Do you know, especially with NXT at the moment, because the serious champion is over.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it, that North American division, as we've described, is the ethnic division of the NXT.
Manny, for the record, fuck Oba, because once again, Shantae has noticed him again, and I don't like that. I just want to point that out. Fuck him. Shit.
But he's the more serious champion, and when you look at it realistically, he is Umbaku in Black Panther, and then Trick is the Black Panther. But when you look at it, Umbaku should destroy the Black Panther.
West only he can wear the Speed Championship on Twitter because on X. Manny, I'm gonna say something right now, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna agree with this. Swerve has been booked as a better champion than Trick right now, and that's saying a lot.
I'm not sure if I said this on the last Thursday. I don't think I said this to you.
So say it now because I haven't heard it.
Yeah, so Trick is in this is being booked the way they book Shida, and they've booked a few other champions like this, where they give them a few title matches very quickly to build up the prestige of his reign. And that's what's basically happening with Trick. And then he's inevitably going to lose it. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think it's going to happen in London against Will Ospreay somehow. However they get to that story, but I think that's what it is. I think Trick is definitely a transitional. Not Trick. I mean, Swerve is definitely a transitional champion, and Trick, I think he's going to have a lengthy reign. I don't think he's a transitional champion. Because he's on record saying that he went to Shawn Michaels to give him the ball.
Can I pause real quick? Because Marcus woke up from his sickness and he said this. Mark, this is disrespectful, Marcus. This is disrespectful. Nobody wants to be this. Trick is more like the Black Falcon. Come on, man. Nobody wants to be the Black Falcon. I don't want to be that guy.
Wait, is the Black Falcon as in before he becomes
Captain America?
No, see, I think he's Black Captain America. If you're going to pull it that way.
Oh wow!
Wow! After that comedy segment, hear me right. If that comedy segment didn't happen, I will agree with Mark and say he's a Black Falcon. But because that comedy segment happened, he's a Black Captain America.
You know how I said they could have sent a Finn down there. They could have sent Bronson Reed down there too to help Trick. Like they could have sent
anyone.
Like Chad Gable, maybe.
They could have sent Braun Strowman for all I care.
I just don't think Dar is the answer, because he ain't done nothing to be serious in this situation. But anyway, man, you still have more questions about Raw.
Which match did you enjoy more, the main event or Ilya versus Ricochet?
Ilya versus Ricochet. For the simple reason is that I've seen Gunther and Sheamus fight each other before, and I knew what they were going to do. I had no idea what because Ilya right now to me is being booked the same way AJ Styles was booked when he signed with WWE, where they were like, yeah, he's smaller stature, but we're going to make him look like he hit hard and make sure it looks like it hurts. That's where I'm hoping they figure out the balance with Melo, because you have to make up for the size. Like, you remember Vince, with all his faults, when they signed AJ, he said, AJ, I need you to be a pit bull. I need you to be vicious. I need you to be because we have to make sure that you look like you're deadly. Ilya is hitting all those marks right now. Like right now, he could be a strong favorite. And Manny, in a perfect world, you know what the finals is going to be. Ilya versus Gunther again. That's what's going to happen.
Well, that'd be the Raw finals, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if the SmackDown bracket is a little bit more difficult to look at in terms of the men's side, because at some point you would think the SmackDown final will probably come down to Randy Orton and Tama Tonga.
Yeah, but like, even if it's Orton versus Gunther, that'd be a good match too. Like, yeah. It's that's the thing that I like about this King of the Ring bracket. It's really giving me, like, if you look at without upsets, if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, there are going to be some banger matches on the women's and the men's side. If it goes the way it's supposed to go, things can
Yeah.
change though.
And then my final question in regards to Raw. I know you and Marcus are enamored by the rap beef that is going on right now. But what are you making of the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre beef that's going on right now?
I'm still waiting for Drew to get into the studio and drop a track. That, like, you know, if you want to talk about people just keeping a pulse on the culture, I mean, they were beefing before everybody else. But Manny, right now, this is all Cat Williams' fault. I'm not even sure if you know who Cat Williams is. Once he went on Shannon
Comedian.
Sharp show,
Yeah,
and
the comedian.
he started talking shit about it. Everybody talking shit. Now Shaq is beefing with Shannon Sharp. Now that's the latest beef. It's just beef. I mean, where is the rebel at? We need to beef with somebody. I need to say fuck you to your podcast. Who can I say that to? We need beef, damn it. Controversy creates cash.
Well, there was Mike, but I don't think he exists anymore.
Manny, you killed that man. That was your personal beef, Manny. That was you.
I didn't kill him. He killed himself. Let's move into AEW because that's pretty much everything that happened really on Raw.
I just want to talk about.
Is there anything that stood out to you in AEW this week?
I don't like what they're doing to Willow. They're sacrificing Willow. Willow might be one or two in the Dakota Kai rankings. That outfit right there, she did not deserve to lose. Like, and it's like, you know how when you see somebody taking a pig to slaughter, and I'm like,
yeah,
anybody but Mercedes Moné. No, like, why? Why did we have to do it this way? And first of all, why is your big signing, Mercedes Moné, going after the lower level title to begin with? And someone called Serena Deeb, she looked like a washed up porn star.
So I think if she went after Toni Storm, I don't think the fans would necessarily like it and there would be backlash.
But isn't that a good thing? Because she's a bad person.
She is a bad person, but she's being presented as this good person, even though Willow is the good person in this person. I don't think we're ever. I think Willow's going to be the female Rey Mysterio. I don't think she's ever going to turn.
No, yeah, I was just like, Willow, why? What? Like, why are they doing? Because Willow is a very like she's very rambunctious. Like she reminds me of Happy Bailey. All she needs is some Bailey buddies. Like, and her promo wasn't that bad this week. But I might have been distracted, but it wasn't that bad.
What were you distracted by? This midriff bit here?
I thought we're not going to talk about that. I thought the words coming out of her mouth was very good. It's like, it was one of those things where I was like, why are you doing this? And then, like, she cuts her promo, and it feels authentic. It felt like it's not like she's not the best wordsmith, but it felt authentic. And then later on, we got the Mercedes Moné promo, and I'm like, oh my God, why do they keep putting the microphone in front of her mouth? Like, stop talking.
The problem with both, I will agree with you and say Willow's promo was better. But the fact that both of these were taped promos and they weren't live, and that's what they came up with is abysmal.
Yeah, well, Manny, you don't have anybody back there to say, you know what, this is not good. Let's do another take. Because as we talked about in the pre-show meeting, Omega and his fake hospital that was not a hospital room.
Oh, fuck that! That was a hallway. That Marcus will relate to this. That time, Hangman was outside a hospital, conducting a thing, and if someone told him he can't drink outside, that's the exact same hallway Kenny Omega was in.
Yeah,
just in a hospital bed.
And I think that the fact that, you know, Kenny decides to use his EVP power, all of a sudden, like, oh, he has EVP power. So let me understand this. So Kenny, and I think I'm taking Marcus' point that he told me, Kenny can appear via satellite in a hospital bed, but Tony, who just has a neck brace, so who clearly was at the NFL draft, can't do the same for his job. Like he can't do it. Like,
yeah, but Eric, he is one EVP, sure. Surely two EVPs outrank one EVP. So Young Buck could go, do you know what? Fuck you. I don't want to do this match. Oh, veto.
But Manny, maybe you can explain this to me. Why is the team of FTR, Bryan Danielson, we can talk about that later, and Eddie Kingston known as Team AEW? The Young Bucks have done absolutely nothing anti-AEW except beat up Tony Khan, who technically was more anti-AEW by hiring Phil and giving Phil his own show and turned against the people who made the show. Like, if anything, it should be the other way around. I think that
It
the
doesn't
Young
make
Bucks,
sense. None of it was explained.
no,
And it doesn't make sense anyway. I had a problem with it. I'm tired of seeing people that are belonging to factions teaming up with other people that they shouldn't really be teaming up with. Stay within your faction.
yeah,
Don't be
you
joining another team.
You are part of the Blackpool Combat Club. Why are you?
Dominic Mysterio bringing in Carlito, bringing in Andrade, bringing in whatever Latino he feels like this in the week makes sense when Damian Priest is furious why he's bringing them in there.
because Dominic is bringing in different trim. He visited in different streets right now. He kicking it with Liv. That's why he's trying to cover up his mistakes.
It makes sense when Damian is furious about it, but for a fact there is not going to be anything of Mox being like, "Oh, I don't care." If anyone should be in Team AEW, it should be Mox because he's been carrying the fucking company every time some bullshit happens.
Yeah. And also, can I get some more of? Can I get Okada to have things like Nakamura? I don't want him to talk. I don't care if he's the bout machine. It's just I feel like Okada's held hostage. I don't know if he needs to be with them. It's just bothering me. And then let's talk about the turning of all turnings. Swerve got turned on by his crew.
And how many people cared? How many people cared?
I can't even remember their name. And Marcus explained to me that, honestly, it makes sense. Those people ain't been around the whole time he been on his whole trajectory. This is the first time, why not turn on him? But I was just like, I don't care. Like technically, the TNT title that Edge has carried seems like a more important title, but he was just in a blood feud that incorporated Kyle O'Reilly in there, and then Edge got upset like, "Oh, that's why you did it? That's why you saved me because you want a title shot?" No shit, Sherlock. Everybody wants a title shot. Because the rankings don't mean shit. So let me help you.
Well, the fact that he's holding a Cope Open means the rankings mean nothing.
Yeah. The only match that had any type of sense on this was Harley versus Mariah May, and I still don't know what that match was about, but it had structure.
It pointed out that the two male creeps were in that audience.
Yes.
That would later go on to offend sexually. Is it sexually harassment?
Which one? Did they assault or did they harass?
They didn't assault. They seemed to harass Sky Blue in the following taped match.
Okay, then that's
and then they were ejected. But those were the two individuals that Saraya pointed out on camera and go, "These two are creeps." During that match, and then they were later ejected because they were saying disparaging things about Sky Blue.
And I also felt that for me, and this could just be me because I am known as the hater of AEW. The overrun was so unnecessary. Like, you could have easily cut Mariah and Harley, and honestly, you could have had the show complete. Like, I felt that it was so disappointing that when Eddie Kingston was announced, and then that was followed by Bryan Danielson, it just made me say, "Huh? This makes no sense." And not to mention, like, a couple of minutes earlier, we had the promo by Mercedes who closed out the show, and I'm like, man, y'all got a lot that just took place that it was all over the place. It was like being at a buffet where you had so much for me to choose from, but none of it really looked that great. That's a pretty good analogy.
No, I think what you said is correct. I think it looks good when it's there. When it's all there, when you look at the buffet, your eyes just open up because you're hungry and you want it all. But you can't have it all. You can't have it all. Sometimes you need to structure things.
Yeah, like you see that. Oh, I have Jay White on my roster. What is Jay White doing? Oh, he's fighting Rocky Romero. I don't think that's what I want to see. Oh, I have Okada on the roster. What is he doing? Oh, he's talking about how he's the bout machine or something like that.
Can we also just point out, Okada's got a match at the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Double or Nothing, against Will Ospreay. who hasn't been on TV for 2 weeks. Okada doesn't seem to care
No,
that this match is going to
no.
happen.
Then Manny. This is the thing that really I was like, I can't believe this. I get a Jungle Boy promo. And Manny, he's cutting a promo with all this aggression for a little scratch underneath his eye. A little scratch underneath his eye. Main event, I got Brody King bleeding all over the place. He ain't cutting a promo to being this angry, but this little scratch.
I tell you what though, Eric. If Mercedes Moné put enough care into a promo and anger, much like a nonsense Jack Perry promo, she might have something.
Maybe. Oh, did I also mention, Manny, that I guess next week Hook is coming back?
Hooray.
Like, really? Do I care about the learning tree?
So
No.
I found out that Sammy Guevara's suspension's over now. There is nowhere for this man to go. So you know he's going to join the learning tree again. He's going to be with Chris Jericho again. This is just more waste of time.
Do you think it's disappointing that Tony has decided that he doesn't want to negotiate with Ricky Starks and they haven't locked him up to a new contract or something like that? I mean, I actually thought that Ricky Starks and Big Bill were actually somewhat entertaining compared to some of the other stuff, but
I don't think it's a case. I think that's just one side of the story. I don't think Ricky Starks actually wants to stay in the company.
Oh, you think he wants to go? You think he wants to?
Yeah, I think when you look at the trajectory of what's going on in AEW, I don't think there's much room for him. So, I mean, if you play for free agency and you play the company as well, you will get money.
El Luchador, I want to point out that you probably gave us Jericho's next iteration of him dressing like a dad with a tucked-in shirt, dad jeans, and New Balance shoes. I mean, that's the only thing he hasn't done yet. I mean, I'm tired of Jericho personally. And in so many ways, Jericho is doing the same storyline as Christian, where they're guiding people. But
I think you want to not New Balances. They're not really dad shoes. It's the Nike Monarchs. Although that's normally
Manny,
how would you describe it?
Oh, maybe run downstairs and go get those pair of Nike Monarchs that I can never wear.
Yeah, it's the Monarchs, but it's normally dad's grilling. Those are the dad's grilling shoes.
You know, because I can actually let me go. I can pull up a picture of the Monarchs. I'm almost 100% sure these are Monarchs that you're referring to, because I have a picture of. And Manny, they were also white. That's the greatest thing about it. Like, these are the ultimate show. So like, I just felt like AEW for me was all over the place. It was nothing I could care about. It was like nothing I could really put my teeth into. But like, you know what? I want to come back next week for this. And that's the thing that made me sad in so many ways. Like I need them to be successful, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think WWE would have improved as much as they improved with their product. And I think that's something that you can never take away from AEW. But I was always concerned, and I said this on multiple occasions, that once Tony ran out of surprises and ran out of people he could sign and whatnot, what would happen then? And I think we're at the situation that this is what's happening right now.
We need to use the people he got already.
I know.
And the one person he should not touch in free agency is the guy that's allegedly going to the NFL now, and that's Gable Steveson. Do not touch that man. That man is garbage.
Yeah, that's not sexy, Playboy. That is not sexy. Oh.
You say that, Luchador, but they are very comfortable. Don't
Luchador,
you try them.
Luchador, let me tell you something right now, brother. As Manny says, don't knock them to. When I came up on this free pair of Crocs, and I must admit, I've been wearing them a lot more. And ever since I had the biopsy on my toe, these Crocs has really done what they need to do.
They are comfortable. You wouldn't see me walking around in them. You wouldn't see me dead. But if I'm at home and I'm wearing them, they're comfortable as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they're better than some of these other shoes. I'm going to present to you guys the Monarchs that Manny is referring to. Those right there. Those are the ultimate dad shoes. Look at me in my John Cena cargo shorts and everything. Yep. Those are the Monarchs.
You look really slim in that photo. Wait, were you saying that you got really fat? How long ago was this photo?
Manny, that was in August. I've gained. That was Manny, that was the last time I was thin, because right after that, right after that trip to DC, bad things happened. I got COVID. And then when I finally got well enough, I went to the gym and I collapsed. And so then I stopped going to the gym and I just ate my woes away. But I'm trying to snatch it back. I'm trying to take Fat Boy Summer back. Yeah, but
Fat Boy Summer.
I'm trying to get back to at least 250. But it's kind of hard though, because a man like Kate,
I'm 194 now, Eric.
Oh, fuck you, Manny. I hate you right now, but I'm proud of you too at the same time. It's hateful, man. That's hateful. Shit.
So obviously in the UK we use stones mostly.
So you're like 12 stone?
I'm just under 14. Yeah.
Damn.
I think my goal has to be 12, but like I'm doing a steady one. It's not like instant loss.
What the fuck is a C31 charity? What is that?
C31?
What's that? I don't know. But yeah, that was a good time. So, but I have to get back, man. When you feel the fat, when you look at but so good thing is I was looking at old pictures, and only I traveled to DC, West, and it was for wedding anniversary. So I'm not gonna go hang out with wrestling buddies while I'm in DC watching all the attorneys and stuff. But if I ever travel to DC by myself, I'll hit you up. Oh,
whereas we also found a video of you the other day.
Damn.
I told Eric should have sent it to you because you try to send pictures and try and come at people. You're 5'2".
Well, makes sense why he a luchador.
A luchador, you need to wear Air Max 95 to give you like 2 inches of height.
Yeah, but Air Maxes are not that comfortable though. Like you would think
which ones you get.
Oh, also, let me just point out, AEW, I don't give a fuck about Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero. Don't care. Stop. That should never start your show off. Really, really just put me in a bad mood. And Don Callis on commentary, helping out Orange Cassidy, didn't care either. Go someplace with that. Just stop. You got a good roster, man. You got a good roster. Do something with it.
They have got a roster. Do something with them.
Like Mariah May and them didn't deserve a match. Oh, man, what did you think? Because I know you guys are big fans of Serena Deeb. What did you feel about her promo / hype for the match with her and Toni Storm?
The promo, I feel like, should have been a video package because you can make more of an impact when you're talking about your medical woes. Like seizures and stuff is a big deal. Yeah. But like when you add it to a storyline and stuff like that, it's not gonna have the desired effect. Like if you watch it back when she talks to the crowd and then she starts talking, then it gets serious. You see how the kind of vibe of the crowd went.
Yeah, it took a lot of energy. And then like when Toni gets there and she throws money at her because she sounds like a charity case, it like, oh, that doesn't really go well because like the vibe of the crowd is already down because now like you're feeling sorry for this old lady who's bringing out her old classic dress in her closet trying to regain her glory and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know if this was the proper way to go about this segment. Like it's a complete polar opposite of what took place on NXT, where Petra, I can't say her name, but with Natty, where she was like, I'm disappointed, Natty. I'm sorry I lost. And then old pervert goes back there and is like, hey, and then she kicks her.
Who the fuck was that?
I don't know, Natty. I don't know. He looked like bad old man John Cena. But like the kick, and then Natty's like, that's a good start right there. That's a good start. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't like the way this was handled. Personally, for me.
It's just literally, it was funny because she was like, I don't give a shit about all that stuff that's going on, as you would as a heel. Like,
yeah,
you come to fight, none of that should matter, and it was hilarious. But it doesn't necessarily do anything for do anything for Serena Deeb.
No, I thought like a redemption package of her working out and stuff like that would have been so much better than like, that. Like I don't maybe they didn't have any of that footage. I'm not sure.
You could
But
have shot it though.
they could have shot it. But I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing at this point now, so I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it. But uh
I don't think Deep needs a mouthpiece. She's good. It's just that I think what they've been given isn't necessarily that good. Like I think they've been told kind of about the angle they need to play, and whatever Serena Deeb brings to the table does not match up with the gimmick that Tony Storm has.
No. And I think you could also point out that Serena Deeb is a better wrestler than she is a talker. And I think that on top of that, she has been like off of camera for a long time. So it would have been better if we would have had some type of redemption story about like, maybe one of those Rio packages they always do when Rio brings her ass back. Like it's like, hey, this is what she was doing to get back.
Even the
I,
Rio package is her jumping on people with
yeah,
no effect.
but like I think that would have been better. Like remind me of who Serena Deeb is. Like it just I don't know. I just don't think they have done anything to sell me on Double or Nothing. And Manny, based on what you have seen with AEW, how would you rank their championships? What is the tier? Like who has the hottest title? Who has the lowest title?
So Roddy's title, I would say, is at the bottom because I haven't seen that for weeks. Uh,
Right there with those trios titles, man. Right there with those trios titles.
No, I feel the trio titles are slightly above them because you see them more frequently.
You do, but I think they
I-
own all the trios title though.
but there's too many titles, so I would say the Continental title is trash because it doesn't make sense to have an international title at the same time.
Who is the Continental
Uh,
champion?
The Continental champion is Okada.
Oh,
The
okay.
international champion is Roderick Strong. And then you have a world champion that is Swerve. I believe all three of those things are the same thing. So like it's roughly the same issue I take with the Intercontinental title and then the world title being on the same brand. But yeah, it's
So Manny, it's the speed title worth more than the international continental title of AEW that Ricochet owns.
yeah, but the speed title is restricted to strictly the internet, and if we continue to see that the fact that the title does not appear on national television, I would believe that this is strictly internet title, so we won't see that much of it.
So, would you say that the strongest title in AEW right now is probably the TNT title by Edge?
I think so, but when you have matches like the matches he's having, where it's a kind of an open challenge, none of those matches tend to make. They're good matches. They don't get me wrong; they are good matches, but they don't serve a purpose. They're strictly there to have a match, and there is no story.
Yeah, I mean, like
Um,
I felt like Brody King shed his own blood for no reason. Like it's just like
yeah.
blood was shed. It's like okay, like what are you
So,
guys gonna do
but
now?
yeah. So in essence, yeah, you are correct that title is probably the highest title. The tag titles have fell off. I don't even know who the tag team champions are. Oh wait, it's the Young Bucks.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh,
Um. So
they are?
yeah. So it's fallen off. I feel like the TNT title, the world title. I put the two women's titles together in underneath that, and then everything else below it.
Hmm. Damn. Damn. Well, I think that's enough for this show. I think Manny, we went over 12 minutes of the hour that we thought we were going to do, but
Well, we
at
said we
this,
were going to do 45.
well, we went over 30 minutes then. I mean, Marcus jumped into the chat and prolonged the show.
It does look good. It does look good. I just have no idea when I'm going to be able to see it.
And I agree with you too, El Luchador. It does look like Edge going to another dark place. I mean, it looks like he needs to stay out the sun. He's aging bad.
He is aging pretty bad.
I'm just I feel bad for Edge because like he's trying to carry a company that doesn't want to be carried. And I don't think that Kyle O'Reilly versus Edge is going to be a bad match, but I also know I don't care about that match.
They've
Like,
done little. They've done very little to make you care about that match, though.
cool
If you
cow.
want to be real, there's very little they've done to make you care about this match.
He's a henchman. Like, Cal is a henchman. He's not an alpha. It's not somebody I can care about. Like, if you would have told me Edge was fighting Jay White, I'd be interested in that. Like, you give me Edge versus Okada, that would have been very interesting. Never seen that.
What was someone made a point at the Dynamite Kid's nephew? I think is fighting Dax on Collision tonight. That should be a good match, but I have zero reason to care.
Yeah, I just think that it's a sad situation. A very sad situation. But then we put him in another faction, and that isn't that something that we don't want to really do for Kyle. Like, isn't the whole idea that they're trying to get Kyle O'Reilly to be somebody himself? I don't like. I don't know what the whole plan is with Kyle.
Yeah, neither do I. I think Kyle should. The whole thing throwing this off is Adam Cole. To be honest, Adam Cole
Yes.
has stalled a lot of things in terms of the Undisputed Kingdom, and then I don't know where Kyle O'Reilly would have fit in with this. But the fact that Adam Cole is still unable to do anything other than talk, and now he can stand. I think that's making it very difficult in terms of booking, and it's not helped. It's AEW's not helped with the fact that they have a bunch of people that are injured.
A bunch of people that are injured. It's like it's sad how much people are injured, and I think the reason why they're so injured is because of the style of wrestling that they do. Like like the match that Edge and Brody did, like you could easily say that Edge could have got hurt in that match. I mean, it was safe in some of those spots, but were those spots necessary? You know what I mean? Like, was it a necessary thing that we had them to have this blood match? You know, like for especially for an open challenge. Like, I get it if we're doing it for a pay-per-view, like if we're going to Double or Nothing, something like that. But like, why? Why?
I can see why though.
Oh,
Like,
actually, Betty, can I
Eric,
say corrected? The strongest title at AEW is the IWGP title with John Moxley. That's the strongest
oh,
title.
shut up, Eric.
I've been saying it is. It is.
I
Tell
was
me.
going to
Tell me I'm
say,
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think it's the strongest, especially when he's giving away title matches to Will Hobbs when Will Hobbs does not deserve title matches, and he
Will
gets
Hobbs won't
injured in
make the
that
trip to
match.
Japan? Well, he won't go to Japan. Manny, it was called AEW. Let's be the black man. That's what they gonna do.
I think with you when you look at what AEW is at the moment, where you don't know if you're gonna be in a match or have a segment next week, by all means, Brody King and Adam Copeland have the match that you're having. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult with this with how stacked AEW's roster is to not want to have those types of matches because you do want to stand out. Like even if this AEW thing does not work out, with the limited TV time they give you, you want to spotlight as much as you can. And I think that's the problem you have, and that's why you have people running themselves into the ground.
I just look at somebody like Brody King and I ask myself, they can't do nothing with this guy. Like, there's nothing you can do with him. Like,
Well, there's something I thought we might do, and I think it should be a 3-person thing. Is what we do is we establish who the main stars are of AEW, then we go through the roster, and we basically go, can you make money with them? And then you'd have to remove the person spot that the star or who they'd work with, but you'd have to remove people because that roster's too big that you can't actually have people that are already stars move into that thing. It's kind of like the Roman thing. When Roman's at the top, you either can work with Roman or that's your ceiling.
so let me ask you this question right now, Manny, because I already know my answer. Off of your head, who's the most viable star in AEW right now?
Without being English biased, it is Will Ospreay.
Okay.
He's the only one I think that is doing big things for that company at the moment,
I
outside
would
of probably Mox.
I would counter that with Moxley. I think Moxley is
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing in it. I think that's your 1 and 2 right then and there. And I think everybody else is kind of like, what are you really doing? Like, I would not put Mercedes there. I think Edge could be considered, but I'm sorry, he's Adam Copeland because of his work rate of what he's doing. But like, could you really see him carry like when I think of their stars is Osprey, Mox, and I can't even tell you who the third one would be right now.
Thing is though, those when you say Osprey Mox, they are stars. Edge is more a legend that is going to try to get people below him up to that level
Yeah,
above, like on
but
his level or above.
But who would you want to see Edge use his status to elevate? I can't think of anybody on that roster that be like, you know what, you could get this Edge win. Like both him and Christian, they're both legends that are in this whole thing right here and there. And I think that's what they're trying to do with Swerve right now. And I think that Swerve, honestly, if you asked me this question 2 months ago, I would have been able to say, you know what, Swerve is one of those people. But I think that since Swerve has won the title, damn, I got real serious because I got into the camera and looked. I think that since Swerve has lost the title, he has stopped doing everything that he did that helped him build momentum. And I think that's the problem.
As Lucha has listed a lot of people, but I think out of everyone he's listed on that list, I think Jay White is the one that you would want to be elevated because he's come in with some of the, I would say, the biggest hype prior to all the other signings, and I don't think he's delivered. Like then, I can say Will Ospreay's delivered.
And then let's talk about Joe. Joe had one of the this a very weird segment. This man lost his title, but he's training, and he's training for what? Like he's not on. Like I was like, what are we doing? Like you're working out hard, but what is your goal? MJF being gone is a big loss because he was a viable thing, but will he be the same person when he comes back? Cole can't stay healthy. And if you're AEW loyalist, Lucha Brothers are a joke. I'm gonna say it right here. They are guys, Penta, Ray Phoenix, they're used to help fight whoever Tony has signed and brought into the company. Like they're like stepping stones. So like
yeah.
So is Pac is that same way. So I'm just like, I don't know.
But I don't believe in Pac. No, I honestly don't believe him. He's very stop-start. There's no.
He doesn't even look like he believes in himself. He doesn't even look like he's working out right now.
It's very hard to invest. If you're an investor, it's very hard to invest in Pac because he's very stop-start. Least with Will Ospreay going back and forth, he's there more often than not. Pac is there for like. Pac is essentially like doing Japan tours when it comes to working in AEW. He'll be there for like a few weeks and then he's gone again.
Like it was at one point, and I realized that like this guy hasn't got any better. But like you know how we talked about how Christian and Edge are used to the legends that are used to elevate people. Well, Jericho is also that person that technically he's supposed to be used to elevate people. He's in this feud with Hook. At one point, I thought Hook was a pretty good thing, but Hook has not done anything better to look like he's going to be a main event player at all. Like
yeah, they booked Hook like Jade Cargill, and then they haven't done anything with him since.
And it's like you have all these people on the roster that you know are talented and stuff like that. I wish Marcus was here because I'm pretty sure Marcus will make an argument for Bryan Danielson, but he's fragile. You can't have him fight as often as you want him to do.
And then Bryan Danielson is pretty much done full time at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Allegedly, because he may change his mind.
I just really feel like they dropped the ball with Jay White. They made him more of a comedy act than a commodity. And I think he could have been a pretty big signing. Like the whole Bang Bang thing, him being with Billy Gunn and Acclaim and stuff like that, it really didn't help. Hell, I think that Malachi Black probably could have been a little bit used better in a sense of like that. Even Brody King, it's a lot of things that they could have did better that they didn't do. And it's concerning because I don't know where they're going to go. Because like right now, Swerve really doesn't have an opponent. Like it's Christian Cage. He's going to beat Christian Cage. He should beat Christian Cage. But where does he go after that? Like who takes it? Okay, yeah. El Luchador. The Bang Bang Gang interest is fire, but they're also comedy acts.
Yeah, the Bang Bang Gang entrance is fire, but so was Karrion Kross's entrance. It doesn't make him a good wrestler.
Damn, Manny. Why you have to Carrying and his crew was down at NXT, not bothering nobody, just out there trying to be Testament and whatever their name is, and you had to bring him up about when he used to be somebody. I think Malachi and Miro's problem is, and it was something that I said when AEW started, when they said that the performers would have creative control. And I think that they still have that original contract where they can nix ideas. And I think they were like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm good. And after a while, if someone keeps saying no, you eventually say, well, fuck you. You ain't going to be on TV no more.
Well, I think Miro got hurt, but from the Punk interview, it just seems like what he said was he was saying that about Malachi. It's just some people that turn up to work and just want to work one day, and then shoot vignettes for the rest of the for the rest of the month.
If you made that type of company, can you blame people for taking advantage of that? I mean, like if you tell me, oh, all you have to do is come in one day and then you can telework the rest and just show up for the meetings via phone, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
no questions asked. So, but yeah, I think this is a very good conversation because like when I think at the roster after Ospreay and Mox, I don't think there's anybody else that I would put my faith in that can really take them to the next. Because like Adam Page, El Luchador, I didn't like Adam Page in NXT. So just imagine, I really can't stand him now. I don't think you can make money with Adam Page. He's a little man that talks mad shit.
You mean Adam Cole?
Oh, that's right. I don't like Adam Page or Adam Cole. I don't like none of them Adams. I ain't been a good Adam since Adam Bomb. I said it. And he was bad too.
Adam Bomb.
No, but gimmick. I don't know. And then you look at the women's division, it's like Willow, I like Willow, but can she make money for me? Julia Hart, she was interesting, but she can't wrestle yet. Sky Blue, never liked her. Never understood why she took off. As they say on the streets, you never trust a big butt and a smile. And she became Eve. You know what? We should do a ranking of Adams. Adam Rose was pretty high up on that list. And the Rose
Adam Pearce is the top, is the highest Adam.
Scrap Daddy, really?
Yes. Who else would be higher than Scrap Daddy?
You would take Scrap Daddy over Adam Page and Adam Cole, Manny?
If you're actually, I wouldn't. I think on your list you should, but I still believe in things on Adam Cole. I still believe in Adam Cole.
Man, you just told me what to do with my own list. You told me, nah, I don't need you believing in him.
There's no way you can put Adam. There's no way you could put Adam Bomb at the top list of your Adams when the fact that Scrap Daddy. If you're gonna negate Adam Cole and you're gonna negate Hangman Page, why are we calling him Adam Page? He's not a real person.
I don't know what his name is. He's Hangman Page, right?
Oh, is it Hangman Adam Page?
Wait, the best Adam actually is Edge. His name is Adam. Adam Copeland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Edge is the best Adam. There it is. Problem solved. We have now, next thing, we have to now decide who's the best Brian. And we're going to go down the alphabet. We're going to go A, B, C. Brian Myers, here you are.
Brian Christopher.
Oh, sorry. Brian Danielson probably wins.
Too sexy, so now, Brian Christopher.
So now we have to go to C, Christopher Daniels. We'll be here all day. This is like, Manny, honestly, this might be one of those good things to record that could just be a fill-in episode when we don't have let's go down the alphabet of best wrestlers.
Well, I feel like there's a hiatus coming when Marcus eventually moves because there will be no internet. So maybe we should record some nonsense.
This will be the most ridiculous thing ever. Because, Manny, who's Z? Oh, Zelina Vega. She's the best Z. That's it.
I'm sure there's someone called Zeke.
Oh, Zeus. Zeus. Huh. You know what? When Marcus get well, we might have to record this. This might be actually a very fun episode.
Yeah, it'd
Like,
be some nonsense, but I think it's something we should record.
yeah, give me your A. Who's your A? Well, I
But
select
also,
person.
in the meantime, if you're in the chat, where's El Luchador? Me and Marcus have been dabbling in a discussion that maybe we should do some more discussion pieces or question pieces as an additional content for the week, which we maybe can record during the show and then just release them as separate videos, because you probably won't get to most people won't get to the end.
No one makes it to the end.
No one makes it to the end. So if you send questions to us via any socials or the email at thesharpshooters@gmail.com, we may be able to actually answer some of those questions and have some discussion pieces across the network. Well, especially whilst we have a pending hiatus coming.
Pending.
Me and Eric can probably still do Saturday shows, but
except for not
there
next
is
Saturday.
but there are some pending hiatuses coming.
I'm taking Hunico, man. I'm taking Hunico with no questions asked.
Both El Luchador, both just send us a bunch of things that we could probably make videos on.
Manny,
just do that.
Manny, tell me he just didn't say that. Tell me he just didn't say that. Serious stuff or joke stuff. You've been riding with us doing this show for God knows how long. It doesn't matter on this show. We kind of do what the hell we want to do.
A joke.
Yeah.
If it's serious, it turns into a joke. If it's a joke, it turns serious.
You know the sad part about that? You know how many times that has happened where we have had a joke and the next thing they'll be like, damn, this is kind of
Someone
serious.
gets their feelings hurt.
Yeah,
and we have a discussion.
Yeah. It's right up there.
And then we're cool again within a couple of days. We're cool again.
It's like having an envelope that has your picture in there that just falls flat. Like, that's what it is. I mean, that goes to anybody, man. Just send us some questions, man. I mean, maybe we should set up a day like on a Sunday where we don't have nothing to do, where we just have like a on the air, ask us what you want to ask us, and we'll be on there for 30 minutes and see what happens.
Well, that's what I was hoping when I do those Lego things and stuff like that, but it just ends up me talking to myself a lot of the time. Or I put football on to keep myself occupied because no one is talking to me.
Movie reviews. Movie reviews are very hard to do because of the spoiler situation. And also because both me, Manny, and Marcus don't know how to shut up. Like, a movie review should be probably no more than 15 minutes, and that's probably even too long. But knowing us, two hours
was so long. The one that's on the channel, actually, the Flash review is so long. We interrupt each other all the time. So the thing goes on way longer. And then when Eric interrupts me, I lose any train of thought I've actually had for when I go back to what I'm going to say.
Then Marcus interrupts you.
Yeah, so it's just like what I think I need to do is start write down things I need to say. But normally when Eric asks me a question, it's in the moment, so I can't prepare for those questions.
Yeah, and then nothing will ever take away the moment where I asked Marcus a question because I was trying to be a keyboard warrior in a chat room, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, and I was the one that noticed that.
Man,
I want to do some manga reviews because I've recently just started to get into that.
Well, Manny, if you tell me what manga or whatever to read, I will try.
No, Eric, see, it has to be something you like, otherwise you ain't gonna get into it. Because I've started reading some weird thing.
Well, I'm reading books. Like, currently right now, I'm reading the last book of the First Law trilogy. It's called The Last Argument of King by Joe Abercrombie, an author from your neck of the woods. It's actually a really good book. It was a good series, good trilogy.
I'm currently reading this thing called Sakamoto Days, which is about a assassin that retires to start a family because he fell in love. He gets fat. And then the people were like, "You can't just leave. You can't just leave like that."
That's the lifestyle,
and they put
man.
a bounty on his head. They put a bounty on his head, and then he starts fighting off of these people one by one. So it's an interesting read. It's like John Wick.
Manny, can I tell you something? You got me at a fat retired assassin who has to go back into the game when he thought he hung it up. Like that
Yeah.
sounds like a very good thing.
It's a good thing. I think there's I think there should be an anime coming out soon.
Do you read it on your iPad?
No, there's certain things I'll read on my iPad, but these I've started to get physical.
Yes, because
not that I have space for all of this stuff, but
wow, Manny, I think this is the way we're going to end the show because I don't know why he wants to choose violence. I believe it's pronounced Magnus, but he goes by Nick Aldis now. I don't know why he likes to poke the bear, Manny. Why does he like to do this? Does he think because you live across the pond? I feel like I should get a fund. Everybody go to the show, donate. Fuck WrestleMania. We're going to get a pun. We're going to get a fund so we can donate and have Manny fly over to Chicago and so he can show El Luchador who Magnus really is.
So, Marcus said this previously where he wants to start a fund, the WrestleMania fund for me to come over, and so I can settle some of Marcus's fights. And apparently, I'm Marcus's henchman. I think Eric's taller than you, Luchador. I think Eric's 5'7",
5'7", 5'8", maybe 5'9" on a good day. I don't know what I am. When did you become Marcus henchman?
I don't know. This is how he started telling the story of donate to the show.
I know exactly when you became his henchman. It was that watch along the Crown Jewel when they thought you was Mexican. Yep, that was it. In the blood money conversation, that's when he became his henchman. That was it. That was it.
Huh. That might be one of the funniest comments we've ever received from a random.
I remember I was like, wow, this is crazy. But at the same time, I can see how they were offended too. Go figure. Mexi Manny. Anyway, that concludes the show. We went extremely too long. We went even when we acknowledged that we went long, we went longer with 15 minutes, and I don't even know what we talked about. So I need to go find me something to eat for lunch so I don't pass out as I limp out with my wait for my biopsy results. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
Manny Frisco.
Marcus existed this week.
Manny Frisco. I like that name.
I will always go by my what was my DJ name? The Mannequin.
Every time you tell me this, Manny. Every time you tell me this, Manny, because you're an asshole and you don't like people. So the reason why you'd be called DJ Mannequin, because you would just stand there just looking at them. They'd be like, play something. And you just be a mannequin. You ain't playing shit. It's like, fuck y'all. Y'all can leave.
Just freeze.
Yeah. Drop a bomb. He's not doing nothing. His name is DJ Mannequin. He's doing what he does. What the hell? Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Take that.
But yeah.
Anyway,
like the video, subscribe, all that YouTube nonsense.
All right, let's end with the other bad thumbnail. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Why you got Randy's balls all up in there?
Eddie, I didn't realize.
You guys taken off YouTube, Eric.
Hey, look how that ankle was curled, though, man. Look that flexibility.
But look at that lighting for Jade. That's fire.
That is good lighting right there, man. She had one of her better matches. It
looks like a side quest is being shown behind her.
Yeah. Hey, Manny, I don't know why, but maybe because you're Manny Fresco. Te amo. That's your love, I guess. Go figure. Anyway, everybody stay sharp, stay blessed. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Later.
Peace. I shot the piece like we're